The easy thing would be to troll and bash this film. That's the fashion nowadays. But that's not what I want to do. I genuinely went to watch this to give it a chance. I knew the visuals are not great, but I still hoped at least it will give me a good time. And I'm not gonna lie, I was invested in the film. I will not call this film unwatchable because it is watchable, even just for one time. But that doesn't make it good. I knew the visuals would be bad, but so bad, I didn't expect that. So instead of hating, let's break down in detail what went wrong. Hello guys, I'm Nona and I just came back watching 3 hour long Adipurush. Now this film was getting told even before it's released and now it's getting more. And that's fine. You can take your digs at the film, but there should be a limit. The intention should be right. And it is part of the criticism, which is very important everywhere in life. That's how you grow. That's how you improve. That helps you to go in the right direction. And this film's visual effects are really poor. So it deserves that criticism. But it is also important to appreciate the attempt that was made. They were trying to make something new and fresh, something we haven't seen in Indian cinema. But the execution of that failed miserably. And why is that? Because the attempt was to make an action-adventure fantasy film based on Ramayana. And just like the director Om Raut, we all have grown up on it. I have read it as a text, as a graphic novel. I have seen the TV shows. I've seen the animated films. And there is a child in us which starts imagining. And that's what Om Raut wanted to do. Bring that child's imagination onto the big screen. But the problem is, it's fine to have a child's imagination, but the process to execute that cannot be childish. I'm sorry to say, but the filmmaking was poor. Watching the film, it felt like they just took the story beats from Ramayana and we were just going from visuals to visuals. And it was just too much. And the worst thing is when the makers assume that everyone knows the story. So they don't need to do any establishing, no setup. Knowing the narrative, you would understand what's happening, but without that, it will not make any sense. What are the events that are happening? Why are certain characters acting this way? Things are just happening because they're supposed to happen in that order. I need someone to calculate this. I think this film has the least number of dialogues. There are so few character interactions. I literally timed it. The first time Ram and Lakshman had an interaction was 40 minutes into the film. Till then, you were just seeing characters in different poses, one after the other. And talking about the dialogues, what were they thinking? It feels so modern. It feels like, today's kids are talking. That Lanka dialogue is already trending all over. But there was one more where Lakshman called Sugriv Fusaddi. And I literally laughed. Like, what? Now, Om Raut tried to make this Ramayana adaptation a little different. Even with the names, it's not called Ramayana or Ram. It's called Adipurush. Ram is referred to as Raghav. Sita is Janki. Hanuman as Bajrang. But none of them are given any character. I think only Saif Ali Khan was trying something. There was something given to him, something interesting. But there was nothing for others. For Prabhas, there were few monologues and a lot of poses and some close-ups. That's it. I didn't had any expectations, but the worst was Kriti Sanon. She is such a fabulous actress and it was sad to see her performance. Again, it felt like the makers assumed we all know these characters. You don't need to set them up. You don't need to show their characteristics. And the bigger problem is the way Om Raut adapt these characters for this film. They are very different than what we are used to. So you needed to establish these characters much better. I feel the best part of the film is the music of it and Sharad Kelkar's voice. Oh my god. His voice and Prabhas fit so well and it gave me goosebumps. Now they did overuse the music a lot. They would just cue it in every 5 minutes. I don't have any problem adapting Ramayana in your own way. It has been done in the past. Sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's indirect. Recently in Triple R, there was an influence of that in the story. And the moment when it becomes direct, that scene is worthy to be a wallpaper. It is so epic, you feel it. And sadly, I cannot say anything like this for this whole film. Now finally coming to the visuals of the film. First I want to talk about the design. Who approved it? Who said, yes, this looks good, let's go with this? I want to know. You can still forgive that in the teaser it was not that good. Maybe they are still working on the film. But even the final product is like that? This is outrageous. Why Lanka is designed like Gothic? Why do Asurs look like orcs? Why is it so Western inspired from Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones? Like there's literally a flash in this film. Now with Ravan, they did try something interesting. They built up Saif Ali Khan. I think a lot of that was CG. But I didn't get why he's walking so weirdly. Okay, he's strong, he's big. But why does it feel like it's not his body? Maybe he has 10 heads, that's why. But no, it looked funny. With Ravan, I did like the psychological angle they gave him with the 10 heads being 10 different versions talking to each other. I do remember in some versions that was the case. Coming to the visual effects. When it was bad, which was most of the time, it was horrible. But when it was good, good. At few moments, it was actually good. So first, let's talk about the good parts. I think the whole Jatayu sequence where he chases Ravan, that was actually done really well. It did have its own issues, but I think throughout it was consistent and looked good. There were some really good shots there. Then the bad dragon we saw in the teaser, which was, oh my god, like cartoon. It was actually really improved, especially the flying shots. There's a Ravan scene where he's singing Sivoham. I think that was very well done. I really like the concept of these different statues of Ravan singing with him. In the war sequence, it felt like they planned it out. In the climax, there were some interesting concepts and shots. I like the way Ravan was represented with his 10 beings. And that's the end of the list. Coming to the bad, it literally felt like, people who first time learning VFX, it's their first month. That's the kind of work we see in this film. And that's most of the film. And I'll tell you, like small details. There's a scene where Raghav is handing over a flower to Sita. And that flower is digital, so it's moving in the hand. You can literally see that. It's called clipping. At so many moments, there was lag. The visuals are shuddering. During a shot where the human cat is in front and the Vanasena is behind, I saw some Vanas disappear and come back. It was flickering. Sometimes the camera is still looking at the human characters, but the background behind them is shaking. At so many scenes, they have just blurred out the background so you cannot notice anything. And I'm not even getting into the bad animation and effects and anything. These are the basic things that should be, corrected. It's not a creative decision. It's a technical thing which is wrong. It's an issue. You had to solve it. And I'll just repeat what I said when the teaser came out. What they were trying to go, the ambition behind this, they couldn't have the budget to pull this off. To make the whole Vanasena CG, like 95% of the film is, animated CG. You cannot pull that off with any amount of budget. In India, even Avatar took so long to be made and they're spending billions of dollars. See, when you're trying to make something so big, you need to give care, attention, your blood and sweat. You need to put a lot of time. And it's a disgrace to abandon that. It was your dream. It has your name on it. How can you just put it out half baked? I really feel sad because this is my dream too. I have imagination in my mind. I want to put it on screen, share it with people. And I understand what goes behind. I feel for Om Raut that he couldn't deliver what he thought he could. But there are some things in the film that is, not excusable. You can burn thousands of crores in the marketing. It will not matter if that final product is not good enough. In this movie, I talked about a film which did that hard work. And you can see it in every frame. Spider-Verse, check out my review here. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this, the thumbs up button, share this, and I'll see you next time.